Chelsea was about proving a point. Brentford is about finishing the work now. Manchester United have given themselves a real chance, but this kind of game that can test a team in completely different ways, shall we say? Not because of the occasion, but because of the expectations with the Champions League football within reach. United have shown many a times over the last few seasons when something's right there for the picking, we drop and we failed. So the questions are going to be out there. Can we reach for that? The question now is really whether United can stay focused, stay disciplined, and handle a game they are expected to manage. So tonight, let's break it down. What Brentford will ask of United and why this match is about more than just the table. If you enjoy Manchester United previews that focus on the football problem in front of the team, hit the subscribe and join the conversation on United Lens. And drop your view in the comments as well, because it's now about control or simply about getting this point over the line. It's about you guys interacting with me as much as me just talking to you. But before we start with the Brentford, I do want to quickly say, I know I've been quiet for the last week. I didn't do a Chelsea reaction. And I haven't put content out since that either. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, because I never want this channel to feel like I take your support for granted. If you've been waiting on content, I appreciate you sticking with me. But tonight we're back and let's get straight into it, okay? And like I did with the last Chelsea preview, I'm not doing this straight as a lineup show, okay, guys? I want to go through the game section by section and bring the player choices into that football conversation, because the section should come from what the match demands and not just like, this is their lineup, this is our lineup, may the best team win, okay? I really enjoyed our conversation last time, and I'm looking at tweaking this as a regular kind of preview for way of doing things, okay? So let's jump straight into the chat first. We got Iron Titanium in here. We got Danny. We got Sean. You know, straight away, guys. Thank you. Totally appreciate you. And all of you watching over on X, if you can just jump over, give the video a thumbs up, a like, much appreciated. Okay. So let's start with what is special about the game on Monday night. Okay. Today's results. It's one of the first places we probably should start, right? Because have things gone in our favour? That's probably a toss of a coin. Obviously, Liverpool got a 3-1 win against Palace. And obviously, with Villa losing, that has made things, how should we say, more than just interesting. You've now obviously got us on 58, Liverpool 58, Villa 58, but those two have played a game more. So, from my calculations, in my head, I was like, we just need 3 points, because I know we need 4, but in theory, it's 3 and we get 1 point out of the rest of the remaining games, and I'm sure we can do that. But, you know, what goes on in my head and what goes on in Man United players' heads can be totally different, right? Playing out one game for a draw, even against a misfiring Liverpool, who seem to find their groove today with Isak netting at last. And obviously seeing Chelsea drop away, and oh my God, have Chelsea dropped away, guys? You know, what is it? Chelsea were fighting us for fourth place 2 months ago, and now we're in third, 10 points clear of them, with Liverpool, Villa, Brighton and Bournemouth between us. Seems unimaginable. Unimaginable. God, the words, they ain't coming tonight. But it is going to be a hard one. Brentford, bit of a bogey side over the last few seasons, haven't they? Now, we've been weakening them, obviously taking them Mbumo, massive weakness. Obviously, Ivan Toney leaving. We thought that was going to weaken things. But they got Thiago. Anyone got anything they want to say about Thiago? I'd probably say the surprise package of the season. One of the contenders for player of the season. You know, it's a huge thing for me to see any striker just rock up and be like, who's this guy? Judge me at the end of the season. Was he 21 goals? 21 goals? Did not see that coming after we took in Bruno. I did not think they'd just get... If you think about it, Ivan Toney left and Bruno stepped up. When Bruno's left, this Thiago has stepped up. You know, so Thiago goes in the summer, maybe, and they'll just find someone else. You know, whoever's doing the scouting at Brentford, maybe we should get him over to United. But let's start with Thiago. The guy seems to be able to score any and every type of goal there is. So our back line is going to be pinnacle, I feel, tomorrow. We have Harry back. Come on, the Harry Maguire. Who partners him? For me, it's got to be Aiden Heaven, because I actually think that's a potential partnership made in heaven. No pun intended. I realised what I just said. But I just think the way Aiden Heaven plays on the edge, Harry Maguire's the type who can be like, stand up, stand up, stand up, go. You know, just talking him through the game, which I felt he didn't really get from Mazraoui. And obviously someone had a word after 10, 15 minutes into that Chelsea game, and he stopped diving in and trying to give away penalty after penalty. Aiden Heaven, I thought, just grew and grew and grew into the game and is probably one of our best players. And alongside Harry Maguire against Thiago, I think aerially, Harry Maguire will pocket him. Mobility-wise, Aiden Heaven can probably match him there as long as he stays on his feet. Bilal says he really likes Thiago. I totally agree. Totally agree. I really rated him very early on in the season before he even hit the 15-goal mark. Died off a little as expected. You know, no goal striker tends to be going 1 in 2 for an entire season. But technically, this guy, that's what he's hit. And that is some achievement in the Premier League. Was literally just about to say this, Sean. No need to play a high line. Jesus, words. Because of the way Brentford play, it may be worth letting them have the ball a little bit more than we need to. Almost, I would like to say, play very similar to how we played against Chelsea without giving up the chances. Because let's be fair, we gave up way too many chances against Chelsea. And if we do that against Brentford, they actually have a striker who would punish us, unlike Chelsea, who couldn't hit a barn door. They can certainly hit the woodwork, but that's about it. But it's also about how they move that ball around, guys. With Brentford's sort of front line, shall we say, it's very rotational. Obviously, you've got Shade on the left and Quantra, or word to that effect, on the right. I'm not really worried about Damsgaard, believe it or not, and I'll come back to him. But the two wide players would worry me. But the way Luke Shaw, and I want to say, well, I'm going to ask you guys. First question to the chat. Grace, evening. First question to the chat. Dallo or Mazraoui right back while I talk about Shaw? Let me know what you think. Because I think Mazraoui was superb at centre-back and doesn't deserve to be dropped for Harry Maguire. But I also think Dallo had probably his best game. So interesting to get people's take on that. And if you're watching this back, guys, let me know what you think in the comments afterwards. Luke Shaw, I think he's been superb this season. I think the whole team has been hit and miss throughout games and throughout different setups that Amarin had, Fletcher had, Carrick has. But Grace, it's ironic that you came in as I was asking that question. You've got a sixth sense. But Luke Shaw, he's been starting to bomb down that left. It's like he's realised that he's not likely to get picked for the England team, and he's going, do you know what? I can give all out now. I'll go all out till the end of the season, and I don't need, and I'm going to get my rest. I'm not going to go to the World Cup. I'm going to get the summer off and I will rest and that he can come back for next season. Something in all the time we've had with Luke Shaw, he hasn't really had the opportunity to do unless he was out with a long-term injury. Okay. But he's always been available when England's had a tournament. So international summers, he's played through them. So he might actually still be capable for us next year with a good rest. But when we come back to the right, Mazraoui will give us, I think, more defensive stability. Dalot will give us more attacking, not flair. I'm not going that far. Mobility. Although I like the way Mazraoui attacks the ball, he's more likely to foul someone to break it up to get the yellow card in the first half than a Dalot who will chase him back and not put a tackle in the defensive thing, sort of chase him back and force him to put a cross in towards Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire heads it away. It's always the way I've always looked at how Dalot sort of defends. He's like, go on, cross it, I dare you. Because Harry's going to clear it. But Shade, however you pronounce his name, for me it's Shade, he will run the byline. He will keep chalk on his boots. He will run down and he will try and hit the byline and cut back in for pullbacks. But it depends. If we were caught too high up, he'll put an early ball in for Thiago to run onto. If you remember back to earlier on in the season, we got caught out by Henderson, long ball, just boom, shoulder. Shoulder? Oh, okay. Sort of like, should eh? Sounds Canadian when I say it like that. Eh, should eh? The left winger, eh? He will pull the ball back from the clam chowder. I've literally pronunciations. I have no chance with. Sometimes I wonder if I can speak English, and I come from England, so if we play deeper and not necessarily just to counter attack, it will stop the early balls in. If you think back to, as I was about to say, Henderson, one of the goals we conceded, long ball over the top because we weren't going to catch him. Learn from that. We're not going to go man for man, three at the back. So we should have the +1. Casemiro should be sitting in front, which also should almost give us a +2 because I don't feel Damsgaard pushes on as much as people realise. He sort of likes to sit and try and pick up second balls. So there's that. And then you obviously got Jensen and Yamaluk. Yamaluk, I don't know much about. I'm not even going to try. Not impressed me, not stood out. Goes about doing his job, which is steady Eddie is dangerous in a lot of teams because that means they're very hard to get past. They just pick the ball up, they play the ball left, right, forwards, whatever they need to do. Jensen, good player, engine. Kobe Mainoo is probably going to have to man mark him for me. So, hang on, we'll stop there. Is the stream back now, guys? Sean says stream's gone. Titanium says, what was that? But I'm showing nothing my end or video. I'm guessing it's still working. We will push through it, guys. Push through it. Normally, at least it'll be there on the catchback. Yes, so Jensen went forward. Did get derailed. Jensen, engine, Kobe Mainoo, man marking job. Let's move on to the midfield because I think defence up against the Thiago and then runners. The runners will also dictate our midfield and how we have to play as a midfield. I think we need to stay very compact. I think we need to stay almost in a 5-man midfield with one up top. And I know that sounds weird, but I would almost think of it as a 2-man, a single pivot in Casemiro sitting in front of the front 4. Let Damsgaard try and get in that area and Casemiro shuts it down. Kobe Mainoo on Jensen, Bruno on Yamaluk, man mark jobs, when out of possession. And then watch out for the fullbacks. Lewis Porter, I quite like. KO'd, not so much. So I would say just be set inside, go inside to out for the counter attack. So we narrow them, make them go wide, make them cross the ball, because we know we have the best header of a ball in the Premier League. The more crosses put in to Harry Maguire, the better. And if Harry Maguire isn't going to get his head on him, Big Lemons is coming, bang, my ball, and you'll hear him. He'll take those balls if they're in the box and he can see them. So the communication between Maguire and the keeper has been superb. I think the goalkeeper could be a potential for signing of the season as a random, because what he's done for Man United is amazing. Grace, sometimes when I mean single pivot, you are right. We will never play one holding six. But if they play the same formation as us, say 4-2-3-1, one defender is better to have the opportunity, centre back wise, to come out and step into where the single pivot is to double up, because you still have 3 against 1 at the back. So you means you can push Kobe Mainu a little bit further forward from time to time and make a box midfield, but leaving 3 defenders. That's what I would instruct to do. It's a lot easier for me to show you if I had a tactical board where you just say, follow him in there, and we've still got 3 at the back, and you tighten up and you force them wide, because the space you then show them is towards the corner flags. It's outside of the wingers, i.e. Ahmad, Cunha or Mbumo, whoever's playing on the wings. So you use the centre-back to step forward, and then you gain an extra player in midfield to try and press and win the ball back. Like a Libro. Yeah, like a Libro. But you just tweak it slightly, because Casemiro hasn't got the legs. So doing it can be dangerous, but Aiden Heaven would be the one I would push in there, leaving Maguire potentially just a little bit deeper. It's an option. We're talking about preview, something to look out for that I would do because of the way Brentford play. It's a dangerous but sort of tactic. But if you want to win the game, I'm talking about what I would do to shut down Brentford to win a game, not Brentford will do this. This is what we got to do to defend. Because sometimes you watch a lot of these, and do you ever feel that the way it's sort of explained to you can be about stopping the other team from playing? Like you're talking more about how we're going to set up to react to them. Well, sorry, they need to set up to react to us. And this is what I would do. If we do that, we get an extra man here, we win the ball back and we can break. And just a different way of doing it. You know, maybe it's the old school Man United fan in me where, you know, the best form of defense is a strong attack, right? And that was always the way we played. And if we allow them wide, we can also attack the width for when they take it, because it'll leave space in behind the fullbacks. So yes, midfield, Casemiro, single pivot. Mainu, Bruno, do a man marking job and let the others tuck inside and condense it. I don't know how you guys would feel about being a very narrow team tomorrow. But Brentford, if you look back in all Brentford's time in the Premier League, one thing that hasn't changed under the 2 different managers is their midfield battle. They seem to win it in there. They seem to control it. And of course, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if Thomas Frank had them working well through the midfield, well, you don't need to change too much. Okay, you might bring in different players, but if it's working with the high intensity, the mileage, these guys run 12 to 15k. They're midfielders. I think they're some of the hardest workers in the Premier League in Brentford. And look at their league position; they wouldn't be there if they weren't. So that's the way I see it. Let's have a quick look at the chat. I've seen it's going right. Sean is Sean. You can talk now, mate. He stopped trying to put me off a little. Grace, we never played private. Yeah, the Libro. Danny, João Gomez was impressive today. It looks like we're not going to get him. We just need to be alert to the long ball, and that's it. Sean, you sort of get it. So if we condense the middle and we don't press like we did against, we press like we did against Chelsea, where we actually let them 20 yards out of their box. because now that long ball is going to go straight through, and if it misses the centre backs, it's one bouncing into the goalkeeper. It takes it out. Yes, they could play a long diagonal. Now that's a different thing. It doesn't matter what size of a pitch you got. A long diagonal can literally carve anyone open if it's played right. But I think you're spot on with this, the long diagonal, and that's where their defense expected lineup maybe is, like I say, Cody, Van der Berg, Collins, and Lewis Porter. Now, I haven't seen their press conference. I have been very busy. So I don't know if they've got anyone out, but I'm using FootMob and they're saying expected lineup. So I'm going to go with they've already updated it from the press conferences. Beware of a modern day Rory Delap, Michael Cody. yes, we've seen that. But we're playing at Old Trafford. And there's one thing you need to know about Old Trafford is that drop off. It makes it very hard to get a straight run up for a throw in, so you can only throw it in from an angle. But I don't know what his standing launch is like. So if he can just stand and launch it, he's probably still hit it. But again, throw a long ball in towards Harry Maguire. I fancy that. I do. I generally. There aren't many players where you go balls in the air. Who do you want to head it in modern football? For me, Harry Maguire all day long. I don't care who the striker is. I really don't. I genuinely think if long ball football came back, Harry Maguire could turn into the modern day Dion Dublin. Goes up front, scores a goal with his head. Oh, we're under the cosh. Drop Dion Dublin back to play centre back. Harry Maguire can do both. We all know about Harry Dino on the right wing. You know, skipping past players and scoring crucial winners. Van der Berg, very good centre back. Very, very. Grace, I'll come back to that. Van der Berg, Collins. I think Sesko needs to pull them around a bit. I think he needs to get on a centre back and pull them out wide, allowing the into-out runs or just diagonal cross runs from Mbumo, Cunha or Ahmad, whoever we start with. So another one I'm going to ask you, which one of the three is dropped? Well, okay, which one of the four? Are you even starting Sesko? I think against Chelsea, the guy did no wrong because we didn't utilise him at all. I talked about in the preview for the Chelsea how I would stand him 5 yards offside and play the ball wide and let him have a head start so we can get the ball in behind. We barely got the ball anywhere near him for the whole game. And then he does his job by taking the defender away, allowing Cunha to come in off of, let's be honest, a really bad cross. But he got put away beautifully. But who would you drop? Ahmad, Mbumo, Cunha, or Sesko tomorrow? Because they are a physical side. And I feel Ahmad maybe has the running of Lewis Porter on the deck, but physicality-wise, I think Porter outmuscles him. I think Cunha will stay on the left. So really, it's Sesko or Mbumo up front, or do you rotate Ahmad out and bring him back, in or out? Let me go. While I go through what I think is going to happen and answer Grace's question, put in the chat what you think. Out of those four players, which are the three that start? Grace, I have already said this. I will be dropping Mazraoui for Maguire. But I think it's a 50-50, depending on what kind of game he wants to play tomorrow. If he wants to sit back and counter, I think Mazraoui starts in front of Dalot. If he wants to play more on the front foot, I think Dalot starts in front of Mazraoui. And that's a bit like it's the modern day 2026 version of, are we defending with Wan-Bissaka or are we attacking with Dalot? It's one of the main things always been asked of him. His defensive capabilities are still questionable because they're not consistent. But to put a smile on your face, this week I'll probably start with Dalot at right back. All right. But yes, for me, I'm starting Sesko. I want to get him on most likely Collins and drag him sort of across towards Van der Berg. allowing Mbeumo or Ahmad to have that sort of 1v1 against Porter, cut inside, maybe release a shot with his left. I think Cunha can probably get the chance of getting a penalty against his fullback. But I want Sesko getting across the centre backs, getting involved in the crosses have got to come in. We've got to put them in, because if we don't start putting more crosses in the box, we lack sort of that ability to be unpredictable. If it's always going to go wide to these players, they're going to run, they're going to have a shot, or they're going to look for the through pass to run in behind on a wide ball. It becomes very easy to defend against. They will stay narrow in defence, allow you to space it outside and go on, take me on, especially Lewis Porter, Ahmad, and Mbeumo, take me on your right foot. You're not going to do it. So now I can shut off you cutting in for the left, and you're going to have to pass and go around the other side. Obviously, Cunha is dangerous running with the ball. Let's just hope he doesn't have a little dive in the box, because I've seen 2 in the last 2 games, and even the penalty he did win, we all know was a soft one, but we're happy we got it, right? I'm going to have to bring this up, guys. We're going to have to pause. Grace has just said Dallo is basically the new Maldini, which has left Bilal laughing and be like, maybe Maldini at right back. Wouldn't we all love a Maldini at right back, left back, or centre back? I think Maldini in this day and age, God, no one would get past him ever. Because people just don't take on the fullbacks. Maldini would absolutely have an absolute field day. Any of them, Brazy, Costa Curta, any of those AC Milan defenders from back in the day, Cafu, they would actually have an absolute field day in modern day football. But we digress. Back to it. Bruno on the ball. He needs 2 assists in the next 5 games? 2 assists to equal the record or beat the record? We'll say 3 assists, because I think he needs to go 1 more. 3 assists in 6 games, 5 games. What we got left? 6 games. He can do it. But against Chelsea, I felt he overcomplicated it. 1 touch too many sometimes. Dribbling the ball, driving. There's the pass, touch, pass, instead of there's the pass, play it. And the prime example of that, if you remember back, there was one which got cut out by defender with so much spin, it almost nipped in. It was a great save from Sanchez down to his left. That's a prime example. But I think if Bruno is always expected to play the Hollywood ball, people give him space to play the Hollywood ball. So as soon as you start knocking it 5 yards, 10 yards short and not playing that Hollywood ball, you become more unpredictable, and unpredictability is one of the best things you can do. And when you think we're going to reverse it out from the right-hand side to a Bruno for a cross, which even I can almost picture every time, don't do it. Work it across the pitch, whether it be a Casemiro shot, or we feed Cunha in on a diagonal, or we just push it straight back the other way on an overlap. We need to be more predictable. And I think Bruno needs to maybe just bring that in for the next few games, because everyone's going to be studying our footage to know how to shut him down. So it's really important. Evening, Jarvis. Nice to see you popped in tonight. So, yes, that's how I feel we can go against them. Kelleher in goal, still one of the best goalkeepers in the league. I'm sorry. So we really do. When we get a shot, we have to mean it. We ain't going to get no passes into the far corner, little nicks or anything like that. Kelleher, you really have to mean your shots. I was really surprised Liverpool let him go. Obviously wanted first team football. Very good goalkeeper. Our keeper's still better. But yes, going back to the game and what it means, guys, because let's be fair, tomorrow is about, if we get those 3 points, the Liverpool, Forest, Brighton, it's 1 point. 1 point and done. We might not need that point, because other results, going forward over these games could also give us the Champions League football. So it's 4 points to 100%. But in your head, beat Brentford, you need a point. And you look to win every game. Can we beat Liverpool? Yes. So if we can beat Liverpool, then we can easily get a point against Liverpool. even if it went wrong. Okay. Forest, God, Forest is a team I might not want to touch right now because let's be fair, some of these results, talk about fighting for your life, they are literally battering their way out of the relegation fight. That is for sure. What worries me about this game is also Brentford. They're in the same boat. And Brentford, we go back to when Ten Hag came in and absolutely battered us, and he brought them in for the extra running. That hard work rate, we're going to have to match it. We're going to have to match it. We've had another 7 days off, and it worries me whenever we have time off now. It worries me because I feel like the players relax a little bit too much. Like out there, a question for all of you. In the chat, you come back straight back to me with this. But if you're watching this back, obviously hit the like button, hit the subscribe, but get in the comments after this and tell me what is the biggest fear you have that Brentford have better than us? Because I'll tell you mine now. They have the mentality to start like they want to win. Because recently, in the last few weeks, we haven't. We've started like we were going for a sunbed. Just walking out, yeah, I'm so chilled. Yeah, just pop the ball. Oh, shit, they've had a shot. It was 30 seconds into the game. We have been way too chilled, like we've already achieved what needs to be achieved. And I want to know if everyone else is feeling that because I've seen it now 2-3 games and it's getting really worrying. Some people say maybe we need to change the warm-up up. We have 3 times this season. I've seen us start slow all season. So that's a mentality for the players. Is it Dallo on the tunes? Because that's what everyone says. Dallo's in charge of the music. Get him off the music. Do they need more of a bloody rave up in the changing room? Than samba sort of beach music. I don't know what they're doing, but they need to do something that fires them up. Maybe they need to put Goldbridge on slagging them all off. Maybe that'll fire them up. They'll probably all end up in the toilet crying because of the weak mentalities. But something needs to drive us. Bilal's just said it. I'm pointing at it. It's like you can't actually see. Bilal's just literally said it. We have to be on it. But we have to be on it from the warm-up. I can tell you now, right? I've been in football long enough. I can tell you within the first minute or so of a warm-up whether my team is up for the game on that day. And that's whatever age group or teams I've played for. You can tell. So they will say, I always thought Klopp had it right. When everyone talks about Klopp standing on the halfway line looking at the other team, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for the weakness. He's looking for who's not up for it. It's so spottable. And I think it's a really good mentality to have. I sort of do the same when I'm warming my team up. I look for some of their players who might be pissing around, not doing the drills properly and things. Old Trafford is going to be an absolute carnival in there because we all know how close we are. Fans, we can feel it. The heart is beating to the sound of the drum of the song Carrick taking us like to the promised land. Everything's going right, and I just want to see my players come out to that war drum because we put the songs in place, we put all the chants in there, we've had all the flags. We are giving it everything as fans, so there's no reason not to start straight away. Forget the huddles. Just get out on the pitch, get lined up, get ready to go. Look at your opposition in the eyes, and just be like, "I'm having you. You are mine." And just go from the first 30 seconds. I'm not talking do a Steven Gerrard and spend 34 seconds on the pitch when he came on back in the day against us. But you've got to do that. You've got to be in that first tackle. Bang, have it. You're not getting past me today. First header, my ball. Because we really do need to be on it. Is everyone else feeling the same? Come on, there's enough of you in the chat, guys. Everyone else has got to be having those kind of fears that we're not going to be up because Brentford will be. Brentford always are up for it. And that's what I mean. It didn't matter if it's under Thomas Frank or now. They are always up for a fight because they're the underdog. And they really shouldn't be because they're a team I really don't like playing against. So is it just me that's seen this? Have you guys been thinking about it? Jarvis, I know you're in the chat here. Who else is still here? Danny, is this what you've been seeing the last few games, coming out and taking the first half and I don't know, an ear bashing at half time to come out and actually be up for it in the second half? Interesting. Sean, what do you mean by take the sting out of the game? Do you think we need to slow the whole game down, or do you mean like we need to come out, start fast, get an early goal, take the sting out of the game from that? Because don't forget, if you score early, they still got 90 minutes, so to speak, to come back, and it means sometimes they push harder. Or do you mean slow the game down, move the ball, and not let them have it? Story of our season and last season, weak mentality. That's something where lack of it's not leadership, experience. We call it experience. Lack of having enough older players who can go, lads, take the ball to the corner. Lads, keep the ball wide, get a throw in. Take your time getting that ball. Those sort of things. Something I teach under 18s, the game management kind of things. My brother loves it. Like we played a team, finished second. We knew we'd have a chance of finishing third if we could stop them. Every time you needed to clear the ball, put it out the ground. Every time it was a throw in, let the furthest player back take it. Take the sting out of the game. They hated it, frustrated them. We won 2-1 because you frustrate people into making mistakes. So it's interesting. Oh God, really? B pun. I didn't even pick up on it. I did not pick up on it. That's not a bad one. It's got to be a good pun. Take the sting out of the game, of course. Yeah, I know. I've been stung by Sean. Next thing you know, I'll be swelling up in anaphylactic shock. You've got me a good one. But yes, let's talk about our opportunities. So we'll go back to the Chelsea game. 1 shot on target, 1 goal. If we go back to the game before that, we all cried out for get the ball in the box. Sesko needs to start. Sesko didn't start, and Bruno did. And we start chucking balls in the box, but Mbeumo's not going to win headers. Against Chelsea, we don't cross the ball for Sesko. Now, I know it isn't just me that has heard this phrase that Sesko is a monster in the air. He's got such a big leap, yet we never cross him the ball. I actually don't think he's a good header of the ball, personally. So there might be something in that. I think he's so tall, he can jump above the ball. He's got too much of a spring. It makes it actually quite hard to time your jump. You want the ball in front of you, jumping forward with a big spring rather than a vertical jump. Because obviously, if you're up above the crossbar in the box, you've still got to get even higher to head it down. Whereas if you're jumping forward, bit like in the Leeds game, I know everyone talks about the forearm from Calvert-Lewin on Euro, but for me, that was a really good attempted header. I would have been very similar, using my arms to pull my body through the air. I feel Sesko needs to do more of that, but he can't learn that he needs to do that if we don't keep throwing the ball in the box, making the centre-backs turn around and defend the other way, get the corners. Remember, we're the second best team from set pieces this season. Problem is, we're actually going to finish where we thought we would, whereas the team who is the best at set pieces are also a bunch of bottle jobs. So there's a difference. Laugh. I'm just tired after that early watch along. Oh, did you do the 18s this morning, Sean? Watch along. What was it? 2-1 Sunderland, wasn't it? Not good. I've been out all day. We've been to a professional netball match with the girls. Nice day out with the family. So yes, like I say, I've had a lot on this week. Also, my hometown Worthing promoted to the National League from National League South for the first time, highest we've ever been. Disney Plus will be on the phone trying to sort out become the next Wrexham, I'm sure. Find a big, I don't know, film star or something to buy into my local club. And also, Stenning Town promoted back into the Isthmian South after being relegated from it last year. So we've gone straight back up. Nothing better. So double promotions for me, old team and current team. So yeah, it was amazing. And I didn't go to either game, so a little bit out of favour with a few people there. Yes, the 18s was a good performance. I've watched the highlights back. I'm going to try and watch the full game back tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow or Monday when it comes out. Yeah, so guys, that's pretty much the preview. Like, a lot of people are going to talk. We all know we need the win. You can give me your score predictions now. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. I'm going for a 2-1 win. And I'm going for, you're going to love this. I am going for Acuna, an equaliser from Thiago, and a winner from Harry Maguire. I'm telling you now, Harry Maguire, boom, have that. So I'm going 2-1. Sean's gone 2-1 United. Danny's gone 2-0. Bilal's gone 2-1. So 2-1, you're sort of feeling the same game. I think we might struggle stopping Thiago scoring. But I think Old Trafford, I'm not going to say it's become a fortress, but we perform so much better at home. And I'm positive that the players have come through this week. Their mindset's getting stronger, shall we say. It's very hard to pull and change a mindset mid-season. At the end of the day, performances and wins and momentum is what changes your mindset in football. And it's so much easier to drop. So one bad result can drop you straight back to square one. Think of it as snakes and ladders and hitting 99. You know, you roll, you need a 6, you roll a 5, you're down the snake all the way back to the start. And sometimes Man United's mentality feels very much like that. But yeah, it's a huge game, innit? It's got to be 3 points. It's got to be, you know, pulling that Champions League in here. I've already said we got one hand on it. Now we've got to be ready. Just there. Just like reach forward, guys. Just within touching distance. That's all it needs to be now. 3 points tomorrow, Monday night. We want, obviously, a solid performance. Or do we? I'm quite happy if we are absolutely crap and win 2-1. It's fine by me. Because I think we are now at the business end. And I sort of a little set up there. No one really jumped on it. It is now about the wins, isn't it? I don't care how well we play. I don't care if we have to play a basketball match or we have to play a chess match. It's about getting 3 points, and it really doesn't matter how. Like I say, Harry Maguire last second winner, or we go 4-0 up at half time. You still get the same amount of points. Liverpool are now banging on our door. We ain't having them going back above us. So I ain't having it. I want 3 points. Get it done. Get out. Stay solid. You know, what we don't want, no injuries. No stupid fucking sending off, because I've seen too many of them in the last few games. And let's actually have a VAR decision go in our favour. That would be an absolute miracle. If we get a VAR decision in our favour, then maybe, you know, maybe we win the Champions League next year, because I think that's about the same kind of chance of either happening. I want a liquid performance, Bilal says. Not as bad as wanting a gas performance. Bilal, I'm hoping you need you mean a fluid performance. 21 is coming. Yeah. So's Christmas, Sean. But I don't know. Is there anything anyone else wants to bring up? There has obviously been some stuff over the last week. Transfer speculations. My number one midfield signing for the last 3 seasons. Edison heavily linked with the club. All of a sudden. Or is that because we're running out of names? from what I know, there's still no chance of Baleba actually coming to United because we ain't going to pay the money they want for him. It has not dropped. Anderson, maybe, maybe not. João Gomez going to Atletico. You know, United need to make that statement and stop trying to beat around the bush. Oh, we're going to have a big war chest. We're not going to have a big war chest. Tchouaméni's coming. Tchouaméni's not coming. Believe what you see with your own eyes, guys. When someone puts pen to paper and signs a contract, they're signing for Man United. Up until then, we can want everyone. It doesn't mean we're going to get them. You know my views on that. There's plenty of transfers out there I would love to get, but Sangari, yeah, that's another one. There's plenty out there. I still would like a out-and-out elder striker. Vlahovic could be a chance on a free transfer. I think we're missing a trick with the free transfer for a centre-back in, what's his name? Begins with S, from Bournemouth. But there's rumours he's doing a pre-contract with Tottenham, which I can't understand. João Gomez. Or Joe Gomez. João Gomez. You can try and say it with my accent. It won't work. Senesi, that's the guy. Tyler Adams, obviously linked. Is it Tyler Adams? Brian Adams? Tony Adams? It's one of the Adams. Adams family. But there are so many out there. But we have no manager confirmed. Therefore, no transfers will want to come to us until that is cleared up. But we need to bring in some experience. We need to bring in a backbone. Sam Adams. We need, if I look at the team in front of me right now, I see Thiago, I see Damsgaard, and I see like Van der Berg, Keller. I think that's still quite a solid spine throughout the Brentford team. When I look at ours and go, well, hang on, if I take Casemiro out, I've got Kobe Mainoo. If I take Harry Maguire out, and at one point until he signed his contract extension, I see two young centre-backs, young goalkeeper, and a young striker. So where's the experience throughout? We only have one place to bring it in, and that's Bruno currently. I just feel we need to get that in there, and I'm not seeing enough of those players linked. So that's what I feel we need. Then they would always play on Wednesdays. Oh, hey, you got to be careful. If we all signed all those Adams, mate, we couldn't play on Wednesday. That would be inbred. Boston Bears, right, Sean? Yeah, people around here go crazy for Oktoberfest. Yeah, I think people go crazy for Oktoberfest everywhere, Sean, mate, from our experience in Europe. Even in my hometown, like, we actually have it all set up now just to get enough people out there drinking with their pitchers and get the women in the lederhosens. So it's pretty much everywhere. Yeah, that's the preview, guys. Like I say, I haven't been on for a while, so if anyone's got anything they wanted to bring up, do it now. Why I quickly just check my list, make sure I covered off everything I wanted to. So we've done the sub, we've done prediction, summary. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So it's down to you guys. Do you want to entertain me, or do you want me to finish the thing? Spooky midfield with Gomez. Oh my God. That actually is true. But how? I never even noticed that. If we signed Gomez and Adams, we'd have Gomez Adams in midfield. Who will be the final team to be relegated? Well, that will be Spurs, Sean. I have no doubt on that. I know they got their win today, but it hasn't really changed anything, has it? So let's have a look at the table as it is right now. Well, Wolves are gone, aren't they? So Wolves, Burnley, Tottenham's sitting there on 34 points, West Ham 36, Forest 39, but in absolute unreal form. And then Leeds on 40 with what, 4 games to go down there. We've got 5. That's what I was thinking. What Spurs is running? I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it? They're away at Villa next, so that should be a Villa win. Then they play Leeds, massive 6-pointer. London Derby in Chelsea, and Everton for the final day of the season. So I can't see them actually. The only place I can see them picking any kind of points up, be it 1 or 3, is from Leeds. But Leeds could go the same way, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Whereas I think Aston Villa win, I think Chelsea win or draw, and I think Everton win on final day. The only thing with the final day, obviously, it's going to depend on those other results. Well, Tottenham might turn up. Obviously, the Xavi Simons injury today, if that's not a medial or cruciate ligament, I will be massively surprised. I saw it. I only needed to see it once to see the sideways lateral movement twist on his knee. That 100%, that's a tear. But it might not. In this day and age, players are a lot softer and go down and stay down for it, but it did not look good. Let me entertain you. Spurs will go down. Yes, but if I look at West Ham's running is not easy either. They play Brentford, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Leeds final day of the season. So if everyone's losing, West Ham could come down to the final day against Leeds again. So really, it is a toss of the coin between them. But they got the 2-point gap. They've got the 2-point gap. So if Tottenham only pick up a point, then they stay up no matter what. I think Forest, I don't want to say they're safe. But funny enough, these guys have all got the same teams to play. And it's really weird. So, but you've got to remember, Forest have got the Europa League match. So they play Villa, don't they, on the 30th. So they play on Thursday. Then they come home to play Chelsea, which you would probably forget that match. You've almost got to throw it to play Villa again in the second leg and guarantee you make the Europa League final. Obviously, a lot of us might actually want Villa to win the Europa League because that's going to put them in the Champions League and change the European things up high, where Forest won't. But Forest then have Newcastle to play and us. So, yeah, I don't know. Why Forest? I'm looking at it now. It's not showing me Forest's last. Who's their last game? Bournemouth. Couldn't see their last game. So I think Forest are safe, guys. If I'm honest, I think they can afford to throw it. They'll lose to us. They will lose to Newcastle. They probably stand a good chance against Chelsea, just the way Chelsea have been playing. But their final game is Bournemouth. Bournemouth will have nothing really to play for. I think they will have a Europa League spot nigh on confirmed by that point for the last game. So yeah, it will be interesting, but it all requires Tottenham picking up points. So I hope that answers your question, Sean. Sean, I'm guessing you think Spurs as well will be the team that goes down. How many times have I been sent off? One. Yeah, it's 5-a-side. Yeah, only the once, and it was a 5-a-side match. And it wasn't my proudest moment, but the guy basically came in knee high after I'd had my knee done. And I ended up knocking him straight to the floor, and one thing led to another, as you can imagine. But it was a blatant attempt to come in over the top of the ball. When you played the game for long enough, you know the difference, as Roy Keane will say. You know the difference between someone trying to hurt you and someone trying to injure you. I'm just waiting to see if we poach players from relegated sides. Yes, okay, that's a really good thing. That's actually something we can talk about there, Sean. I don't know if you've already spoken about it on your channel, but what scariest film you've watched? Bilal, I can tell you now, I've probably never been scared by a movie. I generally can't think of one. Maybe Aliens or something. Maybe I was about 8 when I watched that, but no, because so for those who, where's Trevor Wade when you need him? For those who were used to me before I started the channel, obviously I look back at in history, I have quite a logical brain. And unfortunately, when I watch a film, my brain tells me nothing bad's going to happen. It's a film. It wouldn't get allowed out if it was. So it's not real. It isn't. So my brain just ruins so many films for me, and it also memorizes them. So there's very few films I can watch over and over again, because once you know the story, I can't watch it again. My all-time favorite film that I can watch over and over again is Bad Boys. Seems that gunshot wounds improved your driving skills. Or sit your lanky ass down before I knock you the fuck out. You know, that's probably one of my favorites, without going into the Rocky films and Rambo films and films just of your age, Top Gun, things like that I grew up with. What's Sean say here? I play indoor a lot, so get put in the box for 2 minutes quite frequently. Sean, when you play indoors, do you play it with the ball able to go out, or have you got boundaries where it can just bounce off? There's something we do indoor, five-a-sides here, where basically you have wooden sides, so the ball can't even go out of play. And when you say put in the box, it's basically like ice hockey. You're slamming players into that, and that's one of the things that can get you a quick little sin bin. We love putting you in the box, Sean. I don't tend to get scared by fiction. It's the world ending. Yeah. Sean, actually, you're right there. Yeah, when you watch something like, I don't know, just Jesus Christ, that actually could happen. There's so many films we look back at now and go, so I think it was last year, 2025. If you look back to the 80s, a lot of the films had flying cars and that for 2025. So when you look back, it's really weird. And that sort of scares me, because if that's what we thought we would be at from then to where we are now, it's a different kind of scared, more freaked out, I'd say. Signs scared the crap out of me. Really? Oh, 9-year-olds. Yeah, maybe. No, there's boards. I body check people into them. And it gets, yeah, exactly. We get the same here. Exorcist. I never found Exorcists that scary. I really didn't. What was Damien? I think Damien. There was one called Damien. It was a rip-off of Exorcist. That was a little bit messed up. There's a few messed up ones. You're like, ooh, you actually went there. But I always wanted a lot for like the Annabelles and all of that franchise. I wanted more for that. But I remember Insidious, the very first Insidious, when people were getting dragged up into the loft. It's filmed on like home camcorder devices, things like that. My brain, I could see the strings, and yet everyone I knew was literally getting petrified because of baby monitors and things like that. And I'm like, but you can see the shadows. You can see. Yeah, it's horrible. I hate films. In that respect, I really wish it didn't happen to me like that. So where's Sean's one? Let's have a look. I like this. I'm just waiting to see if we poach any players from relegated sides. Well, I saw something from old I Talk Shit Goldbridge going on about Mickey van der Ven. And he's a prime example. I know when we're looking at the bottom now. So Burnley, no. João Gomez was probably one of two players really from the Wolves team that would be pinchable. I might surprise you with the other one I would go for out of João, Wolves. But for me, there is two players I would take from Wolves, and the other one is actually what's his name? Is he Chinese, Japanese? I quite like him. I like his the way he just conducts himself. I'm not saying he's a Jason Park, but yeah, very, very good player. Then you've got obviously West Ham. There's a few at West Ham. Diouf, left back. Obviously, most people are talking about Fernandes. But Tottenham, Van der Ven, I would take him. I would take him because of his pace. But if he's not on big wages, and if he's got a 50% wage cut to go down, they're pretty much going to have to sell a lot of these players. They haven't got relegation release clauses in Tottenham, so that makes it actually quite hard to get hold of their players, because Tottenham can make them stay. But I quite like the idea of bringing in Van der Ven. I know there's a lot of stuff being put out about his constant injuries and things like that. But if you look at Tottenham, they played so many games like we did last year. Van der Ven has been in and out. And when you have such high twitch fibers, he needs a longer rest time. But Tottenham have had constant players out for the last 2 seasons. So maybe he's come to us. We seem to have sorted our shit out with with them. He'd probably be the only one from Spurs I'd look at. I don't think Pedro Porro would come to us. That's an option. Left backs, no. Left wing, no. Central midfielders, too old. Paulinho, maybe. Just as like I said about having someone of an age that could just help Kobe Mainu, and if we brought in an Anderson, so I would want someone of an age to just mentor them. I would love Casemiro to have got a year's extension or a coaching role or something. Yeah, that's it. Sean said it'd take Porro in a heartbeat. I actually think Porro goes from Tottenham to Spain, if I'm honest. I don't think he stays Premier League. Maybe he does. Who else? Wouldn't take any of their strikers, even when we need one. I don't think Solanke offers anything that we haven't already got. Really trying to think. Xavi Simons, obviously now, if that's an ACL, that's 8 months, 6 months at best. So it'd be a waste of that, and I only just signed him. Yeah, no one. I generally can't think of anyone. So there's only 2 or 3 players that I would take. Archie Gray, if he didn't bleed Leeds. And that's it. If Leeds stay up, Archie Gray maybe goes back to Leeds. If they want him, obviously. Yeah, I can't see anyone else. I did think about some of the free transfers. Would you take Andy Robertson from Liverpool? I don't think it's going to happen. Would you have taken which one is it? The centre back, isn't it? Konate, if he wanted to come in, to have another French player there with Euro, wouldn't be a bad shout. But yeah, no, I don't. There's only a handful, and they look like they're going to go to other places, if I'm honest, from those relegated teams. So yeah, Van der Ven's actually has been shit this season. Yeah, something's wrong at Tottenham. Something's massively wrong at Tottenham. Seeing the players walk off past Thomas Frank, and yet they didn't do that with Big Ange. Maybe they just didn't want Ange gone, and they see the problem was something else. There's a lot of rumours now that potentially Tottenham's been on the market behind closed doors, and maybe the players are found out, don't feel safe, and I don't know. Tottenham should not be where they are. But with the amount of injuries they've had, as we know from last season, it's very easy to get there. Who's the best East Asian in English football history? Don't say Dong Fazu. What's East Asia? Bilal, you're going to have to give me the sort of countries, because surely it's Jisim Park, right? That's East Asia. For me, Jisim Park. I generally, you've seen Park, Song. What did you say in English football? Yeah, Park, Son, or there's another, and I can't think what his name. One of my favourite growing up was Nakamura. It's the same name as a wrestler. I know he played in Italy. Was it as well? He was superb. Japan, South Korea. Yeah, so Park Ji-sung for me. The guy I'm thinking of is Nakamura. Nakamura is definitely a wrestler. But I can definitely picture around the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, Naka something, playing for Japan. I can't think what his name was, but he was superb. Great free kick taker. I'm trying to think what teams he played at. He plays at some good teams. Definitely no Chinese players. Nakamura played in Scotland. Was he at Rangers or Celtic? Oh, yeah. Was he? Well, I think he played in Italy as well. I want to say he played for Sampdoria. Well, but yeah, Jason Park. What about you guys? You let me know who you think from Southeast Asia. It's got to be Jason Park. I'm so underrated for his ability, but then maybe old Sonny eclipsed him. That's a debate purely only to be had by. So, guys, if you're watching and this is your area of expertise, Southeast Asian team, let me know who you think it could be. But also, let me know who is the better player or thought of as the better player, Jason Park or Sonny Son Moon-jin, or however you say it, because I think different times, different positions, but how they're thought of by their own compatriots would be interesting. I actually think Son's better without the titles. Yeah, but Jason Park didn't play as many games. That's the thing. Jason Park was the go-to man for doing a job, and there's not one ex-United player from that time that did not rave about him and what he was capable of doing, and say how underrated he was. So yeah, that one's interesting. That's a really good question. And there's been some great Japanese players in and around Europe as well. Chinese, I can't really think of. We more sent players to China and they didn't really come out. But then again, without being critical, what really does leave China? I'm just trying to think. There's been some really good Japanese players. There's some really good ones. Even that keeper at the moment. They've got the one we were looking at. So yeah. Got any more questions, guys? Otherwise, we've been going about an hour and 10. Nice. Jarvis has disappeared. I don't know if he's listening in the background. Thank God he hasn't been asking me all the hard questions that he gets on. I get on his shows, and he gets to come in and ask them in here. No, doesn't look that way, guys. We'll probably leave it there. It's been a great preview. I could probably cut this in half and have a good question answers show as well as the preview. If you've made it all the way to the end, guys, make sure you've hit the subscribe. Make sure you've given it a like. And more importantly, make sure you put your score predictions in, okay? Get in the comments afterwards. I love reading them back, and I don't get enough, okay? Comments help me, but they also help me come back with you guys with content for the next one. So have your say. Give me your takes on what it is. Sean, if you're still here, I'm still waiting for the challenge from your channel. You know, you went out, thought there was a challenge coming. We've done the crossbar. Thought it was a first touch or something like that. Still waiting. So get that into me. And apart from that, guys, I will see you Monday night after the game for a player review. And then Tuesday night, we'll break it down and we'll get back to doing it. And guys, don't forget, coming soon, we will be doing a lot of Tuesday and Wednesday night football because Champions League music is coming back to Old Trafford. Have a think about that. Catch you all later.